For those of you that are interested in gardening, maybe for the first time or maybe trying some vegetables earlier in the year, green leafy vegetables are some that you can try and you can get them started before that first frost-free day of the year. Spinach and kale are some of the most popular greens. You can also start some lettuce mixes, and then there are several other vegetables you can start earlier in the year as well. And if you have the opportunity to grow in a high tunnel or some kind of a covered structure, you can push that envelope on the temperatures because the soil will warm up even before that. These tend to be plants that take a lot of nitrogen to grow them because nitrogen produces leaf and stem tissue growth. So nitrogen fertilizer in the soil is really important, and you get that if you mix in some type of a manure, and oftentimes you'll get a good source of it with compost that you've mixed into your garden soil. Since we're approaching the summer months now, this spinach has had enough heat on it that the flowers are beginning to bolt on it and the leaves are gotten rather large. We'd like to harvest them when the leaves are a little bit smaller. They're a little more tender that way, and the flavor on them is not quite as strong. The thing about these vegetables is they do really well in our cool temperatures at the beginning of our season. They begin to taper off and struggle in the heat of summer, and then there's something that you can replant in the fall and enjoy a second crop of them at the end of the season. For the University of Wyoming Extension, you're watching From the Ground Up, and this is Donna Quinn.
Asparagus is one of those plants that I think every Wyoming gardener should have. It's great to eat in many different ways, and really it's a low maintenance perennial plant that is really easy to be successful with in our gardens. And the first thing, and maybe the most important thing with asparagus, is getting it planted correctly. When we start talking about planting asparagus, we really talk to people about getting it deep. This morning here I've got a trench, it's dug 6 inches, and then I'm going to plant these plants 18 inches apart. So in my 6-inch trench, I'm actually going to loosen the soil underneath where that plant's going to be. So I'm going to dig down and loosen the soil a foot. But I'm really going to want to spread these roots out so they can grow out as much as they can. And I'm going to get it planted about 3 inches down, and then I'm going to cover it with a good 3 inches of soil. The one thing I've noticed with asparagus is sometimes that crown will actually creep up and actually push up, and we might even, after it creeps up, put more soil and make a mound. So that first year, we're going to want to baby the plant a little bit. That first year, we're going to want to watch our water, not to get too much water there, but certainly have adequate water. We can fertilize it with the rest of the garden, but the most important thing is we can't pick it that first year. We don't harvest production that first year. We let the plant grow up and go to seed. This is Hudson Hill with the University of Wyoming Extension. You're watching From the Ground Up. Here in Wyoming, we love rhubarb plants, if for no other reason because they'll grow for us. This is a great rhubarb plant, 3 or 4 years old, and today it's ready to harvest. So you can harvest in 2 different ways. We can just take a pair of scissors, a good sturdy pair. We can come down and get real low in the plant and cut it off. Or even easier, we can just pull them. So when we pull them, we are going to want to cut the leaf off. The leaves are great in a compost pile or incorporated in the soil somewhere. We certainly don't eat the leaves ourselves, and we don't feed them to animals. The leaves can sometimes be high in toxins. Rhubarb is a great treat in pies, cakes, different desserts and drinks. So we take this in the house, we can wash it up a little bit and cut it into whatever size we want to. The best way to get a rhubarb plant started in our yard is to take a cutting from the roots. So what we'll do is we'll dig down and take out a good big cutting of that big white root. We take it home, we get it started in our garden. We'll want to give it extra water, and we won't want to cut it for the first year. But boy, after that, you can just about treat rhubarb like a weed and it'll grow. The one thing to remember is we don't eat rhubarb after the first hard frost. This is Hudson Hill, University of Wyoming Extension. You're watching From the Ground Up.
A hearty mixed green salad can make a filling meal on those hot summer days when you don't feel like turning on the oven. On this episode of Eat Wyoming, Diane Saenz and Kentz Willis show us their favorite approach to mixed green salad. Many of the ingredients for this salad can be grown locally, on farms or in backyard gardens.
Got some greens to eat.
Yeah, we've got some great lettuce here, some colorful chard, kale, a couple little beet greens hiding in there.
Nice. They're starting to pop up, right? So how about we make a salad with them?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So starting off with some lettuce. Brad gave us some great stuff in the CSA, so all sorts of varieties are coming out now.
So what I love about all these colorful greens is that color's a great indicator of the phytochemical content of these foods.
And the vitamins, right?
And the vitamins, you bet. You can get all of those great phytochemicals from all different kinds of plant foods, whether it be the grapes from wine, the leafy greens we've got here. The carrots are going to have some great things in them that's going to help protect our eyesight, immune system function, and even keep our brains working as we age.
So take-home message is...
Not that you are aging.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Take-home message is the more color, the more protection.
Oh, you bet.
So in terms of a good salad, moving on from health. Health is important.
Yeah.
But we got to eat this stuff. Because kale is so wonderful, am I going to want to just go crazy with the kale and throw it all in there?
You know what? Maybe I am, but maybe you're not. But we want to, if we want to get a little more boost from this salad to last us a little bit longer, we're going to want to get maybe a little bit of fat and a little bit of protein in there as well.
So you're trying to tell me that man don't live on fiber alone?
No, we don't. So maybe we could get some nuts in there.
All right, toss them in.
We got some Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts and cashews, I think.
And cashews, yeah. And so this is going to add a real nice texture, in addition to helping this salad take us a little bit longer into our afternoon.
I'm going out on a limb here and throwing in some raisins.
Hey,
would that be good?
Go for it.
Diane and Kentz have shown us how to make a great salad that's both tasty and nutritious. But have you ever wondered where all this produce comes from? Some of our produce is available locally from community-supported agriculture operations, or CSAs. Donna Quinn visits a CSA in Dayton to find out how these veggies and greens are grown.
Brad Holiday is here at the CSA in Dayton. What's the name of your CSA?
Holiday Family Farms.
That makes sense. So you're growing greens this winter and selling them through your CSA. Would you explain to our viewers what a CSA is?
CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture, and basically you buy a share of our farm in a sense. Doesn't entitle you to any profits because we don't get profits, but whatever's ready that week, you get a share of that harvest. And so if it's lettuce, spinach, kale, chard, that's what we deliver that week to the different shareholders.
So tell us about some of the different greens that you've grown this winter.
We have in front of us here beds of kale. We have the older kale that's about done, and we have new kale coming on. It's a Toscano variety is what they call it, is Toscano. Spinach, we have two different varieties of spinach growing here. We have the Bibb lettuce or the butter leaf lettuce. We have kind of a sweet crisp lettuce over there. We had radishes. We have Swiss chard. We have beet tops and eventually beets. We have broccoli heads starting to form over there. The cauliflower is still growing, and then carrots in the back there.
Okay, so you've done a few root crops and then some of the leafy vegetables. Which one seems to be the most popular?
The leafy vegetables, just because for one thing, they're more regular.
Right.
The root crops take a lot longer.
Okay, so you're getting those near the end of the season rather than throughout the whole season.
Right, yep.
Okay. Well, those sound like a great variety of choices. There are CSAs available in many of our communities across the state, and some of them in our adjoining states, so they might be something for you to look into in joining and participating in a CSA and finding out a little bit more about what crops grow in your neighborhood. But let's go back to the kitchen and see what else they've come up with to add and enhance the salads from the greens that we've got here from Brett.
This is a pretty good salad,
That
yeah?
looks fantastic.
But it needs something.
It needs something, yes. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that.
What do you mean?
We can make an amazing dressing from just a few ingredients here in our kitchen.
You don't say.
I do say.
Okay.
For a fresh, simple dressing, you'll need 3 tablespoons of olive oil, a tablespoon of lemon juice, a dollop of honey or mustard, salt and pepper to taste, and a little lemon zest for texture. Simply combine the ingredients in a small bowl and whisk, or, even easier, combine in a small jar and shake vigorously. The dressing should last in the fridge for about a week. Remember, for the salad itself we started with lettuce, chard, kale, beet greens, and spinach. Then added carrots, radishes, raisins, nuts, and sun-dried tomatoes. Be sure to experiment with vegetables, fruits, and protein that you enjoy. The salad combinations are endless.